Geometry, Unit 7, which is Chapter 5 from the book, Section 5, Properties of Parallelograms. So, parallelograms actually have a lot of properties. And the first one is that the opposite sides are parallel. So BC is parallel to AD, and then AB is parallel to CD. This actually now gives us our next property, which is consecutive angles are supplementary. So we just showed that these are parallel. So this is a transversal, which means these angles here are same side interior, which means they are supplementary. So these two angles add up to 180. Same thing with these two angles. They also add up to 180. These two angles add up to 180, and so forth. So looking at this next parallelogram, these two add up to 180, so this has got to be 60. These two add up to 180, so that's got to be 60. Add up to 180, so that's got to be 120. So consecutive angles are supplementary. That comes to the next idea, which is opposite angles are congruent. So angle B is congruent to angle D, angle A to angle C. So those are congruent, so that's got to be 120. These we know add up to 180, so that's got to be 60, which means that's got to be 60 as well. So opposite angles are congruent. Opposite sides are also congruent. So BC is congruent to AD, AB is congruent to CD. All right, so let's look at this next one. We have the perimeter is 36. So I know these are congruent, so it's got to be 12. These are congruent, so this one's x, this one's x. They have a perimeter of 36, so 12 plus x plus 12 plus x equals 36. Subtract 12 to both sides. 2x equals 12, so x is 6. So both of these lengths here are 6. The diagonals bisect each other. So that is cut in half by the other diagonal, and then this is cut in half by the other diagonal. So the diagonals bisect each other. Remember, bisect means they cut each other into congruent segments. So let's construct a parallelogram. So let's start off with, I'm just going to draw a line here. Now I'm going to take my compass. I'm going to make it equal to the length. I'm going to draw that arc. So I know those are congruent. Now I'm going to take my compass and make it equal to the length of this other line. I'll do this in blue. Now I'm going to make a big arc. I'll do a big arc on this side as well. Now pick a point on your blue line, on your blue arc. So I'm just going to pick a random point here. Now I'm going to get my compass back equal to my first line. I'm going to go back to red. Put my compass on that random point I decided. Make an arc on the opposing arc. And I will have now a parallelogram. Now, if I chose a different point, let's say I chose this point. Same thing. I now have another parallelogram. I'm going to do this in a dotted line, so it's a little bit different. You can see that's also a parallelogram. Parallelograms have the same lengths, but they're not necessarily, but they are not congruent because their angles are not the same. And there we go. That is the end of this lesson.